So likewise today, how should we worship God? By simply accepting what's been passed down to us through generations or through families or what's popular in our community? Is that what we want to do? Would that be using our power of reason? No, it wouldn't. In fact, history has shown us that true discoveries are made when a person decides not to simply accept the current belief of his day, but rather digs for the truth himself, digs for the truth.
Decides not to simply accept the current belief of his day. With those words, a helper to the governing body, Mark Noumair, makes a powerful appeal. And for the sincere Jehovah's Witness, it is vital to understand exactly who this appeal is for. Our only goal today is to honor this appeal by examining the protocol it establishes. This is not about my conclusions. This is about taking a speaker for the governing body at his word and thinking deeply about the logical conclusion of his instructions. The core tool Mr. Noumair presents for this vital task is your power of reason. He anchors this in Scripture, tying it directly to your act of worship. Please listen carefully to his full thought here.
Well, the Bible gives us clear, straightforward direction on this. So now let's open to our Bibles to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12, the Apostle Paul writing to this congregation in Rome, Italy. And notice what he says. Notice the direction that the Apostle Paul gives us. Verse 1. Therefore I appeal to you by the compassions of God, brothers, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, a sacred service. But now take notice of this next expression. With your power of reason. With your power of reason.
That is a direct command from a representative of the faithful slave. He is telling you to engage your thinking ability as part of your sacred service. But every system has a user agreement, rules that define how its tools can be used. What are the rules for a witness's power of reason? Let's look at the source code from the Watchtower itself. The Watchtower of January 15th, 1983, page 27, paragraph 19 says, "Yet there are some who point out that the organization has had to make adjustments before, and so they argue, this shows that we have to make up our own mind on what to believe. This is independent thinking. Why is it so dangerous? This is where you, the individual, must begin your analysis." Mr. Noumair praises the man who digs for the truth himself and doesn't simply accept the current belief of his day. Yet the Watchtower explicitly labels the act of making up your own mind about what to believe as dangerous independent thinking. This becomes undeniable when we re-examine the historical hero he has asked you to admire.
For example, astronomer Nicholas Copernicus used his power of reason to prove that the earth revolves around the sun and not the other way around. He came to that correct conclusion when it went against popular belief back then. Well, so too, we need to use our power of reason to really think about how we serve God.
Let's analyze the use of this specific hero. He holds up Copernicus as a hero for one reason. He used his personal power of reason to challenge the popular belief of his time. This gives us a clear standard. So, let's apply that standard to one of Jehovah's Witnesses today. What is the popular belief for a witness? It is the official doctrine taught by the governing body. So, what would happen if a sincere witness today actually emulated Copernicus? What if they used their power of reason to examine evidence and concluded that a popular belief within the organization, a core teaching, is wrong? Would that witness be praised as a hero? Would they be held up as an example of someone who digs for the truth? Or would they be counseled and disciplined for the very same independent thinking the Watchtower publications condemn? The point is not complicated. They are asking you to admire a principle that they would punish you for practicing. This is the core of the contradiction. Mr. Noumair makes an explicit promise to show people how to search for the truth. Listen very carefully to who he is speaking to and what he is asking them to do.
Now, in our invitation, and you might have this invitation, or perhaps you came here because of this invitation, but I want to share with you what it says about Sunday's program and this talk. It says, the talk, do you worship what you know? Learn why our beliefs matter. And then it says, we'll talk about how to search for truth. So we promised you, if you are here for the first time, or our Bible students, how to search for the truth. So that's what we want to do. We want to see how we can actually search for the truth. What are the steps? You will now need to take the necessary final step. The final step. And what is that? Reject falsehood. That's the final step. You'll need to ask yourself, do the teachings and traditions of my religion agree with the Bible? Do those who take the lead in my religion practice what the Bible teaches? Now, only you can answer those questions honestly.
Let's pause and analyze that protocol. It's a powerful and direct challenge, but notice who it is for. It is for the person who is not yet one of Jehovah's Witnesses. The instruction from the stage is for a Catholic, a Muslim, a Buddhist, an atheist, anyone, to use their power of reason to examine their own beliefs, compare them with the Bible, and reject falsehood. It's an invitation to every single person on earth to use their independent thinking. Except, it seems, for Jehovah's Witnesses themselves. This raises the most critical question of our analysis. What happens after a person accepts this challenge? What happens after they study, they use their reason, they reject their old faith, and they become a baptized Jehovah's Witness? Does the same rule still apply? Is that new witness now encouraged to continually use their independent thinking to scrutinize the popular beliefs of their new religion? Let's look at the source code that applies to those who are already inside the organization. The Watchtower of January 15th, 1983, page 27, paragraph 20 says, if we get to thinking that we know better than the organization, we should ask ourselves, where did we learn Bible truth in the first place? Would we know the way of the truth if it had not been for guidance from the organization? Really, can we get along without the direction of God's organization? No, we cannot, and there is the kill switch. The power of reason is presented as a tool for deconstruction, but it is offered only to the public. The moment you become a member, the rules change. The very tool you were praised for using to find the truth is now reclassified as dangerous independent thinking. It's evidence of a haughty spirit. The key that opened the front door is taken from you once you are inside. So I have to ask, Mr. Noumair, does your audience know this? Do they understand that the power of reason you are praising so eloquently expires on their baptism day? If you are one of Jehovah's Witnesses, the final question is for you. Have you ever asked yourself why it was so easy for Mr. Noumair to praise Copernicus? I want you to please really think about this. It is because Copernicus is not a Jehovah's Witness. He is not in the audience. He can't get up and ask a difficult question at the microphone after the talk. This talk's invitation to reason, to challenge, to dig, it is for everyone else. Catholics are encouraged to use their reason to leave their church. Protestants, Muslims, Hindus, everyone on the outside is invited to use their power of reason to find fault with what they've been taught. Everyone, except you. Once you are inside, the rules change. And the very tool they celebrate in others is condemned in you. So when you begin to ask your own questions, when you feel the need to verify what you've been taught, you are not being rebellious. You are simply asking for the same intellectual respect the organization extends to every single person who is not a Jehovah's Witness. You are doing exactly what they themselves praise as noble and courageous, in everyone but their own. If you are starting to see the glitches in the code, please subscribe, like, or share your thoughts below. Thank you for joining me. Jesus said in John chapter 8, verse 32, "The truth will set you free." Please awaken, question, and discover. Goodbye.